Hello and welcome to another episode of C-Suite, a CEO Chat. And yes, I am Shawanna Kennedy, your host, and I'm excited because in the C-Suite, we have the opportunity to talk to CEOs from all over the globe about the good, the bad, and the sometimes ugly of what it really means to be a CEO. Today, waiting in the back, waiting in the green room is a young lady who is triple board certified. She's a triple board certified physician. She is also an international wellness speaker. She is a best-selling author and advocate, and the CEO, the proud CEO of Your Advocate. I am excited because Dr. LaFarra Young is someone that you need to know. So let's get her in here because she's going to give us some of the good stuff because we have a physician in the house. Hey, Dr. LaFarra. Welcome to the C-Suite. Thank you for joining me in the C-Suite. I know you are pulled all the time, a lot of places. I only mention a few of the things that you actually get to do because if nobody else know it, if they follow you online, this young lady actually loves to dance. She can be found dancing, so you might want to call herself like a dancing doctor. And we know that you have a specialty and you're an expert in multiple fields because of what you've had to the challenge with in your own life and how you lean into natural medicine because of dealing with arthritis and sarcoidosis. Did I say that right? Right. I don't want to mess
Yeah,
that up.
you said it right.
I said it right. Thank you. I'm excited. So just say hello and welcome to the C Suite. Say hello to everybody. And if there's something that I didn't mention, tell us about it.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Dr. LaFarra Young. I am a triple board certified physician, actually a pediatric pathologist, and I am the founder of Your Doctor Advocate. And I help women, predominantly over 40, to heal and rejuvenate using life skills like juicing and health advocacy.
I love that. Now, with that, we talk about you making that your business, the business of being a CEO. Why? What made you want to make it your business? Because you could do anything. You can continue to even help people and you can continue to work for someone else. What made you want to step out and took you down that path?
Right. So I had been a pediatric pathologist for over 15 years, and I had always struggled with trying to hide flare ups from being on pills for being treated for rheumatoid arthritis and sarcoidosis for years. Rheumatoid arthritis had stopped me from walking at one point, and sarcoidosis almost took my sight. And I realized that relying solely on traditional medicine, I wasn't getting enough of what I needed. And so I started looking for alternative things that I could do so that I wouldn't be having to rely on prescriptions to feel like I am living. Someone said, "Are you living or are you existing?" And I was just existing. I wasn't really living. And so I realized that in order for me to be able to really live, I was in my late 30s, almost 40 at the time, and I became a health coach to learn natural things that I could do in order to help me to not be reliant on pills and not end up like I saw so many of the women that at one point we were similar. We had autoimmune diseases and we were on steroids, and what hit me is I would end up seeing these ladies on wheelchairs, I mean on walkers, and I would ask them things like, "Are you still on steroids?" And they would tell me stuff like, "Yeah, and I crave sugar a lot, and I eat all this sugar." And I'm like, "Your doctor never told you not to eat sugar while you're taking steroids, not to try to limit your sugar intake?" And they were like, "No." And it made me just feel so bad, to know that we started out in the same place, and I knew that I wasn't going to be one of those women. And recently, during a recent hospital stay where I got a really strange rare infection, I was in a position to where I had one lung that was actually working, less than
Mhm.
one lung. And after the surgery and the doctor showing me that what my CT scan looking like, and me realizing that as a doctor, I had never seen that type of imaging on a patient that was living. I realized that once we figured out what actually was causing my infection was going to require something that we used to call in medical school amphoterrible, because it used to do so much damage to the body. And so again, I went back to my childhood and realized that, okay, so you've kind of been getting primed your whole life for this. My granddad was a farmer, and so I used to go with him sometimes to sell products at the grocery store, like from his fields. And so I had been exposed to using foods to do certain things. Um, and so I was used to being around foods. I was a health coach. And so at that point, I knew that that medicine was going to affect my liver. And I didn't realize it was going to cause my kidneys to start to shut down. But as soon as I started taking that medication, I started watching my labs and everything just go crazy. And I was in kidney failure.
But
And
what made you want to make it a business to then say, I want to advocate for other people? But you've decided to make that your business.
right.
Right. So because of that, like what happened that you said, not only do I want to help other people, there's a number of people that do certain things and they help other people, but so much so that now that is part of your job. That's what you get paid to do.
Right.
People come to you for even coaching. What was that final trip to the hospital to say,
Yeah,
I have got
that
to do
final
more,
trip to the
got to do
hospital,
more.
because I had been coaching prior to going to the hospital, but I had not been doing advocacy. But during that final trip to the hospital, where I'm sitting there knowing that my organs are about to, go through some stuff and I may not make it, I realized that I needed to implement what I already knew, not just as a doctor, but as a health coach, because it was going to take a combination of both. It was going to
Mhm.
take me relying on foods to help my liver and my organs to recover while I'm taking this prescription that I absolutely need to survive. It was going to take a combination of those. And me being in the hospital setting and feeling just helpless and alone, and despite what I already knew that I knew that a lot of people did not have that. I knew that a lot of women didn't have that. I also knew that medical errors and, medical being in the medical system, and the potential to be a statistic for medical errors is the third leading cause of death amongst women. And so I didn't want to be a statistic. The things that I saw while I was hospitalized made me see why we're statistics. A lot of us are statistics because we don't know how to connect with our body. We don't know how to tell other people what's going on in our body. We don't know how to receive the information and utilize it to help us reach our best health. And so I knew that because of my background, because of everything that all my life experiences have accumulated to. And I wanted to be able to help other women to do so. And I found myself, even while I was struggling to breathe, being hooked up to an oxygen tank on the wall in the hospital. That's the only way I was able to breathe. I was still meeting with nurse administrators and HR because of the treatment that I was receiving. My mom's also a nurse. She's a master's level nurse. So whenever I would be struggling with things and I couldn't quite figure out like how to get past certain things, I was able to draw from her knowledge and her experience. And that was why I was able to get out of the hospital with the diagnosis that more than 90% of people who get it, if untreated, don't survive. That's why I was able to get out in 21 days. And I would not have been able to do that had I not been able to advocate for myself, had I
Right.
not
Right.
known that, like, you need this medicine. You absolutely need it, and you know what it's going to do to you. You can't think about that. And you also absolutely need to know natural things that you can implement in order to help your body to start to heal on its own. And without those things, your healing process is going to, be so much longer. And so I knew that what I was having to do for myself was something that other women absolutely needed. And not just women, but in my particular case, those are the people that I had been working with in the past as a health coach. And the statistics for women are just they're just
So
really
what,
not
when you think about that, do you usually get, even in the coaching and then it has expanded, what was one of the number one things that women wanted your advice or wanted your guidance in? Like, I know we're talking about for you is the arthritis and the sarcoidosis.
Mhm.
What is some other things that women may have had as a medical diagnosis that you get to assist them, even in having the right conversation, using the right language
Mhm.
to lean in to say, when you go to your doctor, these are the list of things that you need to be asking.
Mhm.
And what are some of those other diagnoses for some of the women?
So I've had women who have mostly had things like high blood pressure and diabetes. And for me, one of the primary things that I like to start with anything is your mindset. You have to know why you want to change, because if you are not willing to stay focused on that one thing or those things that are bringing you to me to even ask me to help you, then you're probably not going to make, because what I do is not give you, say, Ozempic and say, take this and you can kind of go and cheat and do it. What I'm offering you is a lifestyle change. I'm offering you the ability to change the trajectory of your entire family's health so that you can stick to them, because they're not always going to be pleasant. Because when I got started with this whole health journey because I had fungal overgrowth. I had a candida infection that had basically just made my whole body just do crazy stuff, and I
Mhm.
didn't know what it was. And I ended up having to do a candida detox. And so it was miserable. I couldn't eat
Now, wait,
bread.
you said this detox is called what?
It was a candida detox.
A Canada detox.
Yeah. Hmm. It was
What is
and so
Canada
basically it
detox?
was a whole diet change. It was me decreasing stress, but mostly it was the diet change. And that diet change was drastic. It was drastic. I couldn't eat bread, I couldn't eat cheese, I couldn't eat um anything that had gluten in it. I couldn't eat sugar. I had to be very, very strict on sugar. So I was basically keto. I just had to stick to it.
Now, how do you help others because of that? And I know, even, when I think about me, and me even being, a CEO, and dealing with, when we think about, we know that our health is our wealth, right? And we know that it doesn't matter what you do, what walk of life, your mindset is everything. To change
Mhm.
your mind is to change your world.
Right.
Once you change your mind, you can change your world. But what was the challenge? Or sometimes even now, you could have a person that knows some of the illnesses or diagnoses of what you just said. You said the diabetes and the arthritis,
Mhm.
things about the mindset. But what are some other challenges with the people to say, no, I'm ready? Dr. LaFarra, I am ready. What
Mhm.
are some of those other challenges, and how do you help them with those challenges to then move beyond that, right? Because I know some
Right.
things it is generational and beyond that, and it's a, you do better today than you did yesterday. What are some of the
Mhm.
challenges that you still run into even after you really believe like they really want it? But what's those challenges?
Right. So one of the biggest challenges that I see is your environment. So if you want something to change, you not only have to change what you're doing, you have to change the influences around you. And so if you know that you need to make changes in, say, your diet, but you're going to the grocery store and you're still not making any changes, like you're still buying the same stuff for your family that you know is a temptation for you, ultimately you're probably going to give in to that, especially during those weak moments. So you're setting yourself up to fail if you're not taking yourself and surrounding yourself by things that encourage you to continue along with those changes that you've told yourself that you need to make. Another thing is getting people on board around you. A lot of people, have challenges with getting their family members to support them. And it's really important that they know why you need to do this. It's not so much of a want. You need to realize that this lifestyle change that you're making is something that you need to do. And so the women that I work with predominantly aren't those who want a quick fix, because quick fixes don't last. Even the women who go to a gym to lose weight and they need to get in a certain size dress, if they're not doing it because, say, they have some more serious event attached to it, this lifestyle change is not, it's not for those that are just looking for something quick. It's for those who really want to see long-term results. And so long-term results are going to keep you off of the pills. They're going to keep you from, even though you can have something in moderation, they're going to keep you from binging and ruining your gut again and making you have to start all over, because now you're suffering from the pain and from maybe the mental fog and from the belly fat that they had, that they wanted to get rid of, that they knew that was going to increase their risk of say heart disease, because they have a family history of heart disease. Most of the people in their family don't reach a certain age because they have heart disease, and they have these kids that they want to be around for. Your why has to be bigger than your environment. You have to have steps to do it. You have to know that, I'm going to help you be accountable in doing that. You're going to be able to ask me questions while you're doing that, and get feedback. And in cases where I have like groups of women, you all can get each other to be support systems.
Yeah.
While you're going through this, because lifestyle changes like this are not easy. And you said that you were going to do, because you're just stressed. That cortisol is elevated, your hormones are out of whack, but it's all a cycle, and you have to realize.
And I love that too, because one of the things that you were just saying, when you're a woman of a certain age, there are other things that go into that. And with this being, and I love that you are a coach. And of course, the coaching has led you into this advocacy. So when they do go to the doctor, we're better equipped. We're better equipped to know when we're hearing something that does not make sense. We know how to then question it. I'm loving the conversation. So if you're just tuning in, I'm again sitting here with Dr. LaFarra Young, and we're having this conversation because she is a patient advocate. That's what she gets to do. That's what she chooses to do. She is a triple board certified physician. So I'm excited, and we'll be right back with more of Dr. LaFarra Young. This episode is brought to you by Kennedy Media, your ultimate partner in content creation, video recording, and digital marketing. Be seen, be heard, and increase visibility in your business. Contact us today at KennedyMediaLLC.com, KennedyMediaLLC.com, and unlock your brand's full potential. Welcome back. I'm Shawanna Kennedy, your host of C-Suite, a CEO Chat. And today I am joined by the lovely Dr. LaFarra Young, who is a triple board certified physician. She is a coach. She is an advocate. She is a international wellness speaker, and she is a best-selling author. And she has been going in, y'all. So y'all got to make sure that you check out this from the beginning of this episode, where she's just giving us some information as to what we need, the things we need to do, because in all things, you have got to be willing to change your mind. To change your mind is to change your world. And if you're ready for your world to change, these are things that you're going to have to do. And because she is a patient advocate, having dealt with and deal with illness, she has done the work. She's doing the work and helping others do the same. I'm excited because I want to ask, my mom actually knew that I was going to be having a conversation with you. So she said, I need you to find out why you have the doctor on the line, the doctor in the presence, to really, what are even some of the things that we could do? Let's lean in even on, as a CEO, being an advocate, and for someone, because she is a senior and having to take medications. Mm-hmm. what is it? What could you kind of even help navigate that? Now I know for me, of course, sure, could I stand to lose a few pounds? This is not that show, but yes, I know one of the things that I've done on a natural level is even did the whole avocado pit, cutting it up and putting it in the alcohol to rub, to rub on me. So those are some of the natural things that I'm even leaning more so into doing for myself and thinking about remedies. How could you help someone? And just talk to us for a minute about arthritis, because that's something, it doesn't, arthritis doesn't have an age limit on it, right? There's young people that suffer with arthritis. So being an advocate, how can we better advocate for ourselves when our bodies tend to want to do that sort of thing? So kind of help us real quick with let's talk about arthritis.
Well, arthritis can be seen in a couple of different ways and so in the younger people, they generally don't get the degenerative joint disease type arthritis that older individuals get. And so the younger individuals tend to get more inflammatory arthritis, and that's what I have. And so, but at the root cause of like, especially the younger type of arthritis is inflammation. And it's also a component of your gut health being not optimum, not optimized. Okay. So decrease your inflammation for the inflammatory arthritis or the rheumatoid arthritis and other types of arthritis that are associated with inflammation. The degenerative joint diseases, they do have some inflammation associated with them, but what happens with them is the cartilage in your joints starts to erode with age. So there are certain medications that can help slow the degree of cartilage degeneration, and some of them are even possibly able to increase the amount of cartilage that you are retaining in between those joints to decrease that the bone to bone contact, because that's really what causes pain, is when you start to get more of the bone to bone contact. And so they do have medications like chondroitin sulfate and stuff like that to help with the older type of arthritis, and give some people relief from those things. I know some people do take pain medication, and you kind of need to be careful with which type of pain medication you're taking, particularly like if you're taking NSAIDs, non-steroidals, like aspirin or ibuprofen. You need to be careful in the way that and the amounts that you take, because those can irritate your stomach lining, your esophageal lining, and lead to other problems. And so now you're getting into the point to where do you want a pill or prescription that can cause another problem? And so in those cases, they do make certain God made certain natural substances like capsaicin that you can get like in certain peppers that help with pain relief. So if you want to do something natural, there are natural things that you could do to even help with the arthritis that's seen in older individuals. You could also be, doing some type of topical rubbing on top of the joint to help ease pain relief. If you don't want to do something we call systemic, which means that you're taking a pill that basically, goes and distributes itself into your whole body and could lead to issues, like I mentioned, as far as like issues with the gastrointestinal tract. And so if you want to avoid that, then more natural alternatives are the way to go. Now, as far as like an older individual taking medicines for different things, and like what a patient advocate could do, it's something similar to what a pharmacist would do. And that's like a lot of older people, especially if you have like more than one doctor, they're prescribed different things, and some of those things don't play well together, and they could end up causing problems that otherwise you wouldn't have if you were not taking those different medications at the same time. And so a patient advocate could help you to go through your medications and say, okay, these two don't play well together. So there is something else that you could be taking besides, this medication for this condition that won't interact with the medicine you're taking. Or perhaps you have two medications that are doing very similar things and you can cut one out. So
Is
now
that part of what you do with your clients? Is that part of the coaching that you do where they could give you the whole list of these are the things that I'm doing and I need you to help me have this conversation, where they do give you the list of the medications that they may be taking?
Yes. So if I'm advocating for somebody, I absolutely need to know what medications they're on.
Yeah.
Because when they go to the doctor, they need to ask about that medication. They need to tell the doctor, because sometimes you get certain side effects of medication. You may not even know it's a side effect. If you don't know the side effects of the medication, what they are, you can't tell the doctor, I'm having this issue. Could it be because of this medication? Do we need to try something else? Because I've had to, even in myself, I've had to say, okay, I know that this medicine causes this side effect. I was on one particular prescription that I know of, and I knew that it caused color blindness, or it could. I'm a pathologist. I look in the microscope to diagnose disease by looking at cells. I don't need color blindness because that's going to inhibit me doing my job. And I also knew that Plaquenil, I didn't really feel the benefits one way or the other when I was taking it. So I had a discussion with my doctor. I wasn't taking it, and the choice was to give me something else, to help me. And this was over 15 years ago, when I was first when I was at the initial parts of the intersection of these two autoimmune diseases. And so I ended up not being on that medication. I'm still here, and I'm not on anything anymore for autoimmune diseases. So at certain points, you have to advocate for yourself and know, okay, this is making me feel bad, or this is not going to work for me. We need to try something else. And being able to confidently voice it and know that, okay, I've said what I'm not being a difficult patient. I'm looking at me. When I go home after I leave you, you're not coming home with me, doctor. If you don't feel comfortable talking to your doctor because maybe you're like, am I asking a silly question? No question is really a silly question, when you're going to your doctor, because you have to live in this body. You don't have to go to medical school to know what your body feels like. If you've been tracking what it feels like to be in your body, that's another thing. I have people track what's normal, what it feels like to be normal in your body. Track how much sleep you're getting. Track how much water you're drinking. So if you're behind and it's like 3:00, you need to catch up.
Yeah, I get that.
And you can't do that if you're not tracking that they need.
Yeah, I love it, Dr. LaFarra. If you guys have not realized it, and if you have not felt it through this entire episode, she is definitely someone who loves what she gets to do, and she is an advocate. If you didn't feel that throughout this entire episode, I'm going to need you to go back and listen again. Dr. LaFarra, I really appreciate this conversation and you really leaning in, because you know what you're talking about. And I like that, and so much so that you do and have made that your business to help others and to advocate for them. So I appreciate you for being a guest on and stopping by for C-Suite, a CEO chat. What's next for you as it relates to you and your business, the business of Dr. LaFarra Young?
Well, one of the things that I am very passionate about is juicing. And I picked that up after I got out of the hospital. I was doing smoothies and that sort of thing, and I wasn't consistent with it because I let life, get out of control and started focusing on things other than me. And so, you talk about self first. I wasn't putting myself first. And so, but with juicing, it's like something that I have to do, and juicing into their daily lifestyle. And because juicing is my way of healing at home, because if you can do that, you can cut down on the pills. I've cut down on the pills. I take no pills for autoimmune disease. And I find that crazy that after 30 years, I don't take any medication for autoimmune disease. Continuing and starting to consistently juice was that thing. In addition to all the other holistic things that I had been doing that I needed to bring back, like journaling, keeping track of how much water I drink. So like I also, make like I made people like, okay, so like this keeps me accountable. I have tools that keep me accountable. It takes everything, a little bit of everything. It's not one and that's it, one thing and that's it. It's a combination of everything.
Yeah.
And so my job and my company teaches women how to prioritize themselves, so that they can experience, a more youthful.
You already know we're going to have Dr. LaFarra back in the C-suite because she is a wealth of knowledge, giving robust information and the things that we need to know to help keep ourselves together as CEOs. Dr. LaFarra, don't you go anywhere. Let me get them out of here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of C-suite, a CEO chat. As you can see, Dr. LaFarra Young is full of information. What is it that you need to know to better operate in your world for your business so that you can continue to scale and grow and help those that we get to be of service to? Again, it has been my pleasure. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms. I am Shawanna Kennedy, your humble host, and I'll see you guys again next time for C-Suite, a CEO chat. Bye for now.